Hey, this is video 3 on why you should be religious. Tonight I'm going to talk about objective morality and subjective morality and the differences between the two and how this invariably leads us to belief in God. So first I'm going to define some terms. Subjective morality. What does it mean? Well, that means that what is right and wrong is dependent upon what you feel about a certain situation. So I like to use flavors of ice cream as an example. I personally like chocolate ice cream more than vanilla, so I feel chocolate is better, and I say yay chocolate and boo vanilla. And subjective morality would say that that's the same thing for morals. Yay for giving and boo for killing. And if you have different views on what's right and wrong, and you have different feelings about them, then you're right too, and I'm right too, and everyone's right and no one's ever wrong. Which is kind of useful in a multicultural, multi-ethnic society like ours, because it solves a lot of problems of people have different views on what's right and wrong. Objective morality, on the other hand, it basically states that what's right and wrong is independent about what you feel about a certain situation. Basically, it states that morals are kind of like 1 + 1 = 2, and it's true or false. And people can feel different things about it, and one person can be right and the other person can be wrong. Like I can think 1 + 1 = 2, and you could think it's 1 + 1 = 3, and I would be right and you would be wrong. So there's a sense where one person can be right and the other person can be wrong about what is morally right. And I think that's the crux of the problem with subjective morality, is that essentially if you believe that morals is right and wrong is based on feeling, then no one can be wrong. It's nice because everyone can be right, and that's very useful, but the problem is no one can ever be wrong, because they're always doing what they feel is right. Now, what I'm going to use is what's called a reducto ad absurdum argument, where you have a theory or an idea, and you derive something from that idea. You have a theory, derive something from that idea, you show that the derivation is absurd and can't be true, so therefore you prove that the theory is also absurd. So what I'm going to do is show a situation where it seems obvious to me that someone felt something was good and they were wrong. Basically, the best example I can think of is Hitler. Everything he did, he felt was good and right. The genocide of the Jews, he felt he was doing good. Now, in order to believe in subjective morality, you essentially have to conclude that Hitler didn't necessarily do anything wrong. And you can't even say he actually did anything wrong. You can just say, I disapprove of what he did. But if you just disapprove about what he did, then you don't really have a right to go over there and stop him. And in fact, with subjective morality, you don't have a right to stop anyone from doing anything, because that's just they're just feeling about what they're doing. Like, it wouldn't make sense to say you should eat vanilla ice cream because I like vanilla ice cream. That wouldn't make any logical sense. That would be a bit of an absurdity to force other people to like this kind of ice cream that you like, or to force other people to feel how you feel, or to feel what you think is right to make them feel what is right. But there are certain things that are just obviously right and wrong, like murder, across all cultures through history. And it just seems so plain to me that that's the case. So therefore, morality can't be subjective. Now, what is objective? How can objective morality exist? I hear people saying, well, aren't you always feeling something's right or wrong? Doesn't it have to be a feeling? Don't you always say, I feel this is right, I feel this is wrong? Aren't you just saying feeling or thinking, or isn't it innately, essentially objective? Well, I think that's just semantics and your choice of words. What I could use a better word called sense. I sense something is right, or I sense something is wrong. At the turn of the, 2 centuries ago, the early 1900s, they had, more philosophers had an idea that you have a sense of sight, you have a sense of touch, you have a sense of hearing, and there's things objectively out there, like light and like sound, and you can sense them with your senses. They also felt we had a moral sense, that we can sense what's out there. Well, sometimes you can be wearing sunglasses, you could be wearing red sunglasses, you could sense something wrong. You could think something is red and it's actually blue because you're wearing red sunglasses. You could have wrong senses. But the idea is there's something objectively out there, and you're sensing it. So it's not an expression of feeling, it's an expression of sense. Now, you can argue that Hitler sensed wrong. And since he sensed wrong, we should make sure that people who sense things like that, like genocide, people that sense that that's right, we should stop them from doing that because they're sensing it wrong. Now, that's what objective... Now, what's interesting about objective morality is there's no other way to explain its existence other than belief in God. So, to me, morals are essentially objective because I think saying Hitler didn't do anything wrong or not being able to say he did something wrong is absurd. So I have to believe morals are objective. And now that I do believe that morals are objective, I kind of have to believe there's a God out there because there's no other way to explain how it came about. Now we can explain the existence of, potentially, of this world and the complexities of this world through evolution and the Big Bang and all these other scientific ideas, which make it possible that, highly unlikely, and I don't really believe it, but it's at least still possible. But morals, something that's not even physical, something that's just kind of out there that we can sense, you need someone to create that. You need a God to create that. And you need a God who is moral, who is good. So you have this all-good God out there creating this moral. And that's one of the reasons why I believe there is a God out there. Again, it's not proof. I could be wrong. Hitler could have done nothing wrong. He could have just been going on his feelings, and morals can be entirely subjective. But I don't think so. I mean, I think that's absurd. I think we were right in killing the Nazis and invading Germany to stop what he was doing, and he was wrong. And I think that's the basis of all laws. We think murders are wrong, so since we sense that it's wrong, we make laws saying that if you do it, you'll get punished, so that you won't do it, and if you do it, justice will be held. I just think a sense of objective morality is pretty essential and pretty obvious, and consequently, I think I should believe in God because that's the only rational explanation for an existence of objective morality, that he would provide us with the sense of morality, or way to sense it, and he would provide us with the morals to begin with. And that's one of the reasons to believe in God. I would say contemplate that a bit, about what objective and subjective, just think about what does it really mean for morals to be subjective. That means you have no right to ever get mad at anyone for what they did. That's like, that's like saying, I love vanilla ice cream, and any other person out there loves chocolate ice cream. Do I have a right to be mad at them? I mean, they can just like vanilla ice cream. I mean, just because I don't like it, that doesn't give me a right to say anything. So just if you really think about what subjective morality leads to, you could see that it's pretty absurd, and come to the conclusion that objective morality is the way to go, and then consequently maybe you should believe that an all-good God exists. But yeah, this is the video for today. There are also problems with objective moralities, which I'm sure some of you people might bring up, but that's the argument, and I'll probably attend to those problems with objective moralities a little later, maybe in the next video. But yeah, that's the argument. I hope it helps.